Nandana Vraja Janaranjana Yashoda Nandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachariyam Yamuna Tira Vanachariyam Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashoda Nandana Vraja Janaranjana Yashoda Nandana Vraja Janaranjana Yashoda Nandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachariyam Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Gaura Haribo. Srila Prabhupada ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki, Shri Gaur Nitai ki, Shri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki, Shri Radha Partha Sarathi Lalita Devi Vishakha Devi ki, Grantaraja Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki, Gaura Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Who is translating? Oh, okay. It's back there. So simultaneous. Okay, good. That's easier, fast. Hare Krishna. I'm very happy to be here in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Sarati Mandir. And I'm a strange face here, I know, so I should introduce myself. My name is Krishna Kshetra Swami. I was blessed. I have been blessed in so many ways. Especially I've been blessed by Srila Prabhupada in so many ways. Beginning in 1972. How many of you were alive in 1972? Huh? Not born yet. How many of you were born before 1978? Okay, so most of you not. The first time I came to India was 1978. And I first came here to Delhi. And the temple was in Nagar. Little house. Yeah. Oh, see, this has to be cut. No. This one, no cutting. This one, cutting. Yeah. Anyway. So it's nice to see, in those days in Delhi, there was a handful of devotees. Now there are so many devotees. So nice. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuttapadakammalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Samadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitanscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva ca patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. He Krishna karuna sindhu dinabandhu jagatpate gopesha gopika kanta radha kanta namostute tapta kanchana gaurangi radhe vrindavaneshwari rishabhanu sute devi pranamami hari priye jaya Shri Krishna chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam namaskritya Naram chaiva narottamam Deving sarasvating vyasam Tato jayamudiraye Nashta prayeshu vabhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. This morning we're reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 9, the Supreme Character of Jaḍa Bharata, and we're reading verse number 4, and we can say technically this is not a verse, this is prose. In some parts of the Bhagavatam, especially in the 5th canto, there's some prose as opposed to verse, which means there's no meter as such. We may wonder, why is most of the Bhagavatam in verse and some is in prose? Kyun? So, I would like to venture a speculation. This word speculation is a kind of a bad word amongst devotees. Although Srila Prabhupada said there's two kinds. There's mental speculation, bad, and there's philosophical speculation, which is good, it's proper. So this one is perhaps somewhere in between. It seems to me that the Bhagavatam, we may say Srila Vyasadeva, wants to show all the different kinds of Sanskrit language, because there are many different meters of verses. I think there's some 25 meters. And he wants to show that, yes, we can also write in prose. Why not? In any case, this is what we're getting here. So I think what I'll do is just read through the whole prose verse, and anyone else who wants to try, we can see what happens. So it goes something like this: tasyāpi hava ātma-jasya vipraḥ putra-sneha-anubaddha-manā ā-sama-āvartanāt saṁskārān yathopadeśam vidadhāna upanītasya cha punaḥ śauca-ācamana-ādīn karma-niyamān anabhipretān api samaśikṣayad anuśiṣṭena hi bhavyam pitu pitre-neti. Hare Krishna. So you've memorized this, right? Just hearing once? No. Anyone else want to try this? Word by word. Yes, let's do that. Tasya of him. Api hava, certainly. Ātma-jasya, of his son. Vipraḥ, the Brahmana father of Jaḍa Bharata. Mad, crazy Bharata. Putra-sneha-anubaddha-manā, who was obliged by affection for his son. ā-sama-āvartanāt, until the end of the brahmacarya-āśrama. Saṁskārān, the purificatory processes. Yathā-upadeśam, as prescribed in the Shastras. Vidadhāna, performing. Upanītasya, of one who has a sacred thread. Cha, also. Punaḥ, again. śauca-ācamana-ādīn, practice of cleanliness, washing of the mouth, legs and hands, etc. Karma-niyamān, the regulative principles of fruitive activities. Anabhipretān, api, although not wanted by Jaḍa Bharata. Samaśikṣayad, taught. Anuśiṣṭena, taught to follow the regulative principles. He, indeed, bhavyam, should be, pitu, from the father, putrena, the son, iti, thus. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation: the Brahmana's father's mind was always filled with affection for his son, Jaḍa Bharata, or Bharata Maharaj. Therefore, he was always attached to Jaḍa Bharata. Because Jaḍa Bharata was unfit to enter the grihastha ashram, he simply executed the purificatory process up to the end of the brahmacarya-āśrama. Although Jaḍa Bharata was unwilling to accept his father's instructions, the Brahmana nonetheless instructed him in how to keep clean and how to wash, thinking that the son should be taught by the father. Purport: Jaḍa Bharata was Bharata Maharaj in the body of a Brahmana, and he outwardly conducted himself as if he were dull, deaf, dumb, and blind. Actually, he was quite alert within. He knew perfectly well of the results of fruitive activity and the results of devotional service. In the body of a Brahmana, Maharaj Bharata was completely absorbed in devotional service within. Therefore, it was not at all necessary for him to execute the regulative principles of fruitive activity. As confirmed in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, svanushthitasya dharmasya sangsiddhir haritoshanam. One has to satisfy Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the perfection of the regulative principles of fruitive activity. Beside this, it is stated in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, dharma svanushtita pungsang vishvaksena katasuya notpadayet yadiratim shrama eva hi kevalam. Duties, dharma, executed by men, regardless of occupation, are only so much useless labor if they do not provoke attraction for the message of the Supreme Lord. These karma-kanda activities are required as long as one has not developed Krishna consciousness. If one is developed in Krishna consciousness, there's no need to execute the prior regulative principles of karma-kanda. Srila Madhavendra Puri said, "O regulative principles of karma-kanda, please excuse me. I cannot follow all these regulative principles, for I am fully engaged in devotional service." He expressed the desire to sit somewhere beneath a tree and continue chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Consequently, he did not execute all the regulative principles. Similarly, Haridas Thakur was born in a Muhammadan family. From the very beginning of his life, he was never trained in the karma-kanda system. But because he was always chanting the holy name of the Lord, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted him as Namacharya, the authority in chanting the holy name. As Jaḍa Bharata, Maharaj was always engaged in devotional service within his mind. Since he had executed the regulative principles continuously for 3 lives, he was not interested in continuing to execute them, although his Brahmana father wanted him to do so. And so ends Srila Prabhupada's purport to this verse, which is describing in an interesting way a relationship, or we may say 2 relationships. One relationship is between Jaḍa Bharata and his father, who is not named, but what is important is the relationship. And it is a relationship of affection, and we can appreciate that out of a sense of affection, a feeling of affection, Jaḍa Bharata's father wants that his son, Jaḍa, observe all of the samskaras that a proper Brahmin would do. This is what he, the father, has received himself, and so he feels responsible. In his feeling of responsibility for his son, naturally he wants to take care for him. How many of you here are fathers? Okay, maybe others of you have been fathers in your previous lives. In any case, we are all either sons or daughters of someone, and we may appreciate all the trouble that our parents have gone through for us, isn't it? But here we have a special case, a special situation, and it occurred to me that, of course, Jaḍa, what means Jaḍa? Jaḍa. It means, in English, we might translate it as dull, or you want to say static. Static, okay, yes. Inert, yes, inert, that's a good. So, I was thinking about this. The description of Jaḍa Bharata, it sounds almost like, in modern psychological terminology, that he was acting as if he is autistic. You know this condition? Autism. Autism is a kind of lack of capacity to interact in what we consider to be normal. But we understand that with Jaḍa Bharata, there's we have in English an expression, actually it comes from Shakespeare, there is method in his madness. You know, it comes, I think, from Macbeth. There is method in his madness. Have you heard that expression? No? Jaḍa Bharata is a perfect example of this, of having, thank you. He's a perfect example of this. He has method in his madness. It's, in his case, perfect method. His method is to act as if he is unable to interact with the world so that everyone will leave him alone, so that he can focus within. As Prabhupada is emphasizing in the purport, he is focusing within. He is remembering Krishna within. And remembering Krishna within, he feels no need to interact with the world outside. Now, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, we have a wonderful explanation of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his mission. And we know that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had a kind of dual mission. He had one mission which we sometimes call external, and one mission which was internal. Now, when we say external, in the case of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it sounds like, in English we may say, superficial. But of course, with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this is not what we mean. What do we mean? I would suggest another word, outgoing, outward directed. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is preaching the Krishna consciousness movement. He is directing his Krishna consciousness outward. And he is also, of course, directing his Krishna consciousness inward. And in his inward pursuit of his purpose, his very wonderful, his unique purpose of experiencing the unlimited flow and gushing of the love of Srimati Radharani for Krishna. To experience that, he goes within. And of course, he spends the last 12 years of his life essentially in the Gambhira. Gambhira means deep, in this place of depth. And all of the time, what is he doing there? What is he doing? He is remembering the Lord. And he's also hearing about the Lord from his friends. Who are his friends? Special, very close. He had many friends. He has. Sarup Damodar, Ramananda Rai. They're helping him to remember. And what are they? Through which book are they helping him remember in particular? Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we can say, is the ideal reader of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. And one of the points I would like you to take with you today is that this reading of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, this is our internal practice. This is our internal practice. We can look within. This is also called svadhyaya. You know this word? Svadhyaya. Yes. Dhyaya has the sense of meditation. And sva, our own. What is our own meditation? Srila Prabhupada has given us as our primary own meditation, Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. And he has given us, we may say, an essential supplement to the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, namely Chaitanya Charitamrita, in which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is teaching us how to read Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam through his entire life. His whole life is about how to read and how to live the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, living by his outward directed life, in which, what is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu doing? He's sharing with everyone, chant the holy name, chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Here we have this relationship of father and son. We have also in the Bhagavatam other cases, other examples of relation of father and son. And some of these relationships are troubled relationships. Can you think of a troubled father-son relationship in the Bhagavatam? Yes. Prahlad Maharaj and his father Hiranyakashipu. Very troubled relationship. Not from the side of Prahlad. Prahlad had no trouble, right? But Hiranyakashipu had a lot of trouble. So much trouble that the Lord had to appear in order to give him some help in better appreciating his son. Yes. But Jaḍa Bharata has this very interesting relationship of acting as if he is not interested in a relationship. He is, so to say, ignoring his family. And as I said, it's because he has a very good reason. It's because he's had experience. His previous life, what was his previous life? He was a deer. You have all seen deer. Are there deer in the forests around Delhi? In the zoo. Yes. Deer Park in Delhi. Okay. Oh, okay. So you know, deer, they're very graceful animals. Have you seen them running? Have you seen them jumping? Beautiful, very beautiful animals. They're called, what are they called in Sanskrit? Mriga. Mriga. And what word do we have that's related to mriga? Marga. Marga is derived from mriga. What is the general word for domestic animal? Pashu. And what means pashu? Literally, it means an animal that is tied with a rope. So forest animals are called mriga. And they run free. And domestic animals, their freedom is restricted. So Jaḍa Bharata became a deer. And why did he become a deer? Because, we know the story. What was he doing? He was practicing meditation. He was in this internal practice of yoga, sitting on the bank of the river, and we say in English, he was minding his own business. When he hears this roar of a lion and his meditation he is distracted, and he sees what's happened. This terrified deer, female deer, has given birth to a baby deer, to a fawn, and then dies, runs off and dies. And so here is this helpless animal. And naturally, because Bharata is a devotee, although he's mainly acting like a yogi at the time, he is soft-hearted, he's compassionate, and so he feels he needs to take care of this, to give shelter to this fawn, to this deer. And, well, he does. And in the course of time, what happens? To take care of an animal, it takes a lot of attention. And more attention to this animal, to this non-human animal. In modern animal ethics, we speak of non-human animal. Because humans are also, what do? Eating, sleeping, mating, defending, same activities. Huh? And of course, if we're only eating, sleeping, mating, and defending, then we can say also non-human animal. Social animal, but social in what ways? Other animals are also social, but still non-human. So what happens is very interesting. He becomes so absorbed in taking care of this deer that when the deer goes off in the forest, he is feeling separation. He's feeling viraha. Viraha, it's like viraha bhava. And this is all a kind of preliminary. It is preparation for the understanding of pure devotional feeling of separation from the Lord, which we find in the 10th canto with the gopis. But here we have a case where Jaḍa Bharata, in his feeling of separation, gets into big trouble. So much trouble, he dies. He has an accident and he dies. And his mind, his consciousness, where is it? Yam yam vapi smaram bhavam tyajatyante kalevaram tam tam evaiti gonteya sada tad bhava bhavita. Where we are, there we are going. Here's an interesting question to ask yourself. I learned this from my godbrother Mahatma Prabhu. We can learn a lot from other devotees. We should remember this. We have so much to learn from each other, isn't it? So my godbrother Mahatma Prabhu, he said he likes to ask devotees this question. Do you want to hear what he asks? Yes. He likes to ask this question. If there were, let's say, 7 billion of yourself in the world, would the world be Krishna conscious? In other words, if your present with your present consciousness, okay, and you expand yourself, you suddenly become a mystic yogi, something, where you can expand yourself not into 8 forms, but 8 billion forms. So most of the world is now you in so many forms. Would the world be Krishna conscious? 50%. Would the world be enough Krishna conscious for your satisfaction? No. Who says yes? Nobody says yes. Who says no? Okay, so there's some work to do on ourselves, right? There's something more. We're working on it. We're there. We're partway there. That's great. We're practicing. We're in the hospital. We're getting better. But there's more work to do. So Jaḍa Bharata, he's remembering this deer. He becomes a deer. But he becomes a very special deer. What kind of a deer? A deer that remembers his previous life. A yogi deer. Hare Krishna. And as a yogi deer, what does he do? He seeks out the association of other yogis, of others, of sadhus. And he hears from them. And so in his life as a deer, he becomes more and more and more and more Krishna conscious, to the point that as Jaḍa Bharata says, okay, I'm finished. No more wasting time with this material life. Now I'm going to be totally focused. This is determination. This life I'm going to reach perfection. So much so that later, I think it's, very soon in this chapter, he's so focused that even when these dacoits take him to sacrifice him to Kali, he doesn't protest. So, you want to sacrifice me to Kali? Okay, whatever. Whatever. He understands he's not this body. And he's so focused that when he's inducted to be a palanquin bearer for this chieftain, this king, Rahugana, he's so absorbed that he can't be bothered to try to keep pace, because now he's very concerned. Again, he's concerned about animals. Not just deer, now he's concerned about ants. Ants. He's so concerned he doesn't want to step on them. Now he knows what it's like to be an animal. As a yogi, he's now fully conscious of the suffering of conditioned souls. Human, animal, insect, everything. And now he is so Krishna conscious that when when Rahugana gets upset, when he challenges Jaḍa Bharata, now he begins to speak. He has been silent all this time. Now he has something to say. Now he has a voice, because now he has someone who can listen to what he has to say and benefit from what he has to say. And so we get the teachings of Jaḍa Bharata to Rahugana, and Rahugana understands, I realize. He understands this is no ordinary person. This is someone who knows what he is talking about. I better listen. And so he gains all the benefit of the mercy of Jaḍa Bharata. So this silence, this autism, so to say, of Jaḍa Bharata, there's a method here. Is it a method that we can imitate? Maybe not. We may just get put into a mental hospital or something. May not be so conducive for our Krishna consciousness. Rather, we can engage in the world. Srila Prabhupada would say, we are in the world and not of the world. He was quoting, it's actually a Christian saying. And in the world, we can act without being affected by the world by keeping good association. So Jaḍa Bharata, this story is an amazing story which goes over a few chapters. And this story is one which I have discussed in a book which I want to tell you a bit about and share with you. And actually, this is my method of being here. Thank you. My purpose especially is I want to facilitate more discussion, more educated discussion on the subject of how we as human beings can care more properly with care for animals, and more specifically and especially cows. So I've written a book, and it's just been published by an academic publisher called Cow Care in Hindu Animal Ethics. Now this is a bit of a dry kind of a title, I'm aware, because that's kind of what you do with academic books. You have to be a little serious generally. But what I've done with this book, which I've spent the last 2 years writing, I was invited by the editor of a book series to write. I've made this book available through what is called open access. So I assume you're all English readers as well as hearers. And so I have a little strip of paper here with information of how you can access this book and download it free of charge and legally. There's so many books on the internet which, they're copied, but it's not exactly legal. But this is legal. So it's a book which I'm trying to reach scholars with, and also public leaders, people in the government, and so on. And but I'm also trying to reach students, and most especially Vaishnavas, devotees, to try to encourage you to think more about this. What Srila Prabhupada said is so essential to our lives, the care for cows. I'll just pass these out. You can pass them around. There are more of them here also if you need. Maybe I should put some over on this side. Yeah. Take if you like. If you're not so interested, that's okay, or you can share with someone else. I also have here, for those who are especially interested, we don't have so many copies here, but I have a press release of the book. And I can mention that just a few days ago in Mayapur, we had a visit from the chairman of the central government Rashtriya Kamdenu Ayog, visited us in Mayapur and spoke for 2 hours about what this agency of the central government does in advising and encouraging activities through the government, the central as well as state governments, to promote cow protection and cow care. Dr. Vallabhbhai Khatirya was present, and he also received a copy of the book, and we're hoping that he will write an endorsement for the book. We have, of course, Srila Prabhupada's books, in which Prabhupada urges that this is an important principle, especially in the first canto, the story of the narration about Parikshit Maharaj meeting the personified Kali, who is torturing a cow and a bull. And in these purports, Srila Prabhupada discusses how human society begins where there is protection of cows. Human civilization begins where there is protection of cows. We have a situation today that there are every day, every 24 hours on this planet as a whole, 8 lakh cows are being slaughtered. That's about 34,000 cows per hour. In our Iskcon goshalas around the world, most of which are here in India by far, we have a total of approximately 5,000 cows. But the number of cows that are slaughtered makes this number almost seem insignificant. What I'm doing in this book is introducing our philosophy, our theology, our ethics of cow protection in a detailed way, in such a way that Westerners in particular, those who especially study philosophy, those who are concerned about our relationship with animals, which is increasing more and more. I don't know how it is here in India, but there is in the West what you may call a vegan movement. There are more and more vegan restaurants, vegetarian, but more specifically vegan. So they're kind of jumping from one extreme to the other, from eating of meat to saying we will not eat meat, we will also not take any dairy. And this is quite understandable if we understand that the dairy industry is an extension of the meat industry. Why is that? Because as soon as a cow is giving less milk, that cow will be sold for slaughter. Generally, that's what happens. So it is a big problem also in this country. The estimate is that some 9 million cows per year in India are being slaughtered. This is not including buffaloes. If we include buffaloes, it's a much higher number. Buffaloes, by the way, Krishna has a pet buffalo. Did you know that? We always hear about his cows, but he also had buffalo. Yes, Lord. So, this is a little about what I'm doing with this book, and I'll be happy to hear responses from you, from devotees, about this subject, about this, your responses to the book. Again, back to Bharata. Bharata becomes a deer, and as a deer, he learns, because he's now a conscious, a yogi deer, he gets a deeper understanding of what it means to be in this very, very helpless condition of being a deer. So, as human beings, we have this opportunity not just to be Krishna conscious ourselves, but to share Krishna with other beings. Haridas Thakur, he was chanting Hare Krishna to benefit all beings, not just other human beings. So this is my humble attempt. I will stop there, and if there is some reflection or some comment on anything discussed, I'm happy to hear and respond. Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhu. Do we have another microphone? Here's some microphone.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you very much Maharaj. Very wonderful class. Maharaj, you told if I able to expand 8 billion times, will the world will become Krishna conscious? If I become like that, immediately the world will become Krishna conscious. Because nowadays everywhere is a democracy. So I will vote and I will form the government, immediately abolish the constitution, and I will put Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam principles as a constitution.
Very good. Yes, thank you. So there will be suddenly so much Krishna consciousness, but the question is, will there be enough?
And I will take care of these cows and banning on abortions. This implementation of 4 regulative principles very strictly. I will do that, Maharaj, immediately.
Okay, yes, thank you.
Hare Krishna, Maharajji. Maharajji, we see in the pastimes of Lord Krishna that Krishna has millions of cows. But how that cow came? Actually, we don't have bull that much of. We don't hear that Krishna has that much bull. We hear that Krishna has that much cows. From where?
Did you all understand the question? Okay. Cows, bull. What about bulls? The word cow in English language is often, and also in Sanskrit, go, is often used to be inclusive of both male and female and male. So this applies in this case. It's not that there were 9 lakh cows only. There were female. There were 9 lakh cows and bulls, all gender. When I worked on this book, I was doing some research, interviewing gowalas, or people who manage goshala and so on. Especially in one chapter, I'm talking about what is going on in India today in goshalas. And one thing that was explained to me just on this point, they were saying, what we mean when we say go mata, is we mean go vamsh. The cow, the mother, the female cow, we value because she is dear to Krishna. And one reason she is dear to Krishna, of course, she's giving milk and we are nourished, but she is giving also bull. And traditionally it was the bull who is especially valued because the bull is dharma and is making it possible to produce food grains. And this is something which the vegans don't understand. The more extreme vegans say, we should have no relation at all with animals, because they say, as soon as we have relation, we will exploit the animals. And yes, that is the problem. That is the tendency. We tend to exploit. What I'm trying to show in this book is that if there is bhakti, then it is possible to have proper relationship. And this would be a relationship of reciprocation in which the cows have a purpose, the bulls have a purpose, and with their purpose of serving Krishna, their life becomes meaningful. But yeah.
So Maharajji, does the bull is expelled from the pastimes, or Krishna has another plan for the bull? Actually, I don't see any much more pastimes of a bull rather than of the of a demon becoming a bull and attacking Krishna.
The Bhagavatam is very much a summary of Krishna's pastimes. For example, the first several chapters describing Krishna in Vrindavan, he is altogether describing, I think it's 22 demons, some of whom are killed by Balaram, of course, 20 to 22 demons. Jiva Goswami tells us that Lord Krishna kills at least one demon every day in Vrindavan. And sometimes two demons, one in the morning before lunch and one in the afternoon. So if he's living in Vrindavan, how long? 11 years? 11 years times 365, that's a lot of demons. Bhagavatam is just describing 20 or 22 demons. So similarly, so many Krishna's pastimes are unlimited. And so we're getting just a little window through the Bhagavatam. And then the acharyas, they expand. So Jiva Goswami gives us Gopal Champu, Kavikarna Pura gives us Ananda Vrindavan Champu, like that.
Maharaj, you spoke about the dairy products. They also in one way, in subtle way, they are also in cow killing. So now we are offering, because the main item for our deity is the cow product. So how to go ahead about it, and is it advisable to?
This question comes up. Did you understand? No. It's this question. It starts to get controversial now. If you sit on this seat long enough, there will be a controversy. So this is the question. So what about this milk and dairy which we are purchasing and then we are offering to Krishna? This seems to be implicated. Yes, it is implicated. And therefore the GBC last year made a resolution which is, it's a directive. It's not a law, but it's a strong request that all temples in Iskcon, by, I don't know if it's Gaur Purnima or Janmashtami, 2022, should have in place a fully developed plan for how to get dairy only from protected cows, enough for offering all the dairy to the deities. With the help of the Ministry of Cow Protection and Agriculture, they're happy to consult and discuss. Okay, we have 2 years to figure out how we're going to do this. It's not easy, but it should be possible. This is wanted. This is. Just consider how much more wonderful it would be if all of the milk sweets and all that we offer to Shri Radha Parthasarati, we could say, this is coming from our cows, from protected cows. Wouldn't that be nice? What do you think? Yes. Yes? No?
Yes.
Yes. So what is needed for that? That we want to... so there are a lot of very practical questions, how to manage that. Taking care of a cow for the cow's full natural life, 15 to 20 years average, not so easy. Yeah, so this is wanted. And otherwise, yes, there is some concern, and some of us, myself included, have decided that for myself personally, I will only take dairy which I know is, having been offered, is coming from protected cows. Otherwise, this is my little austerity. I understand Srila Prabhupada never specified that, so I'm not saying we should all do this, but this is my own personal sort of vrata. And some other devotees, senior devotees also are doing like this. I feel personally better this way. Also, physically, at my age, to be taking a lot of milk products, not good. Any of the ladies? Yes, here in the very back.
Haribol.
Maybe. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yes, it's this related to what I was just saying.
Yeah, you
It
can't
is.
give an answer.
It is a challenge, and it's understandable. First thing I would do is ask myself, do I need as much dairy as I am taking? Or can this be reduced? Srila Prabhupada would say 1 glass of milk, 1 cup of milk a day, especially as we're getting older. Another thing which some devotees have suggested, which you may or may not like this idea, but one proposal is what they call ahimsa milk balancing. And this is similar to carbon balancing. So you calculate how much you are spending in a given period of time, 1 month or maybe 1 year. How much are you spending on milk? Let's say you're spending, what would be a likely amount? 2,000 rupees a month, okay? So, if you decide I can't reduce this, I have children, they should have milk and so on, then think about how you could take that amount that you're spending and donate that same amount in addition. So that means you're going to be spending 4,000 a month. Are you going to be able to do that? 2,000 you donate to a Go-Raksha project. You support financially a Go-Raksha project. That's one possibility. Other options may be there. One suggestion has been made. We get together with a few friends. Yes, we're in the city, but we pool our resources, and in effect we rent a cow from a farmer, which means we make an arrangement that this cow, we're taking our milk from this cow, and this cow will not be sold for slaughter. We will pay for this cow for the rest of her life. You just take care of this cow for us, and we will cover the cost.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Here, I just want to make a comment. Thanks to you for raising a very important point in which we are lacking. Iskcon is particularly lacking still. So there is a good news. Iskcon Delhi is going to start a big Goshala. We are already working on a project. 14-acre land we are going to acquire very soon.
Joy.
Yeah, near Delhi.
So, very good. Thank you. So, it's already happening. Yes. Let's see if there's someone else. Yes, Prabhu. Yeah. Yes. It's. Yeah.
Bulls are also protected, and if you protect a bull, it is very, very costly because they have no employment.
Yes.
You have to feed him the whole life. He is doing nothing.
Yes. This, as I was saying before about the word cow, when we say cow, we mean cows and bulls. They have to all be protected. And this is a challenge. It's a challenge which is, it's not something we have a complete answer to, but we need to take seriously, I would suggest, that Srila Prabhupada is telling us this is what we need to do, and then try to see how it can be done. It may involve help from the government. It may involve help from other organizations, institutions. The chairman of the Rashtriya Kamdenu Ayog, that I spoke with him, and he said there's one of the things they want to do is make available land as pasture land, forest land. They want to make available specifically for this purpose. So I'm not claiming that, it's an easy thing, but it seems to be necessary. And what we want to ultimately show is that even if economically this seems difficult, it may even seem impossible, if we understand the full picture, which means understanding our relationship with nature and how we are destroying nature, how the whole environmental destruction of species, climate change, all of this, how we can come to a balance which is based in the Brahminical culture of yajna. How do we make this a reality so that human society will understand, yes, this is important, this is necessary, this is what we are about as human beings. We're not about just making more factories and farm soil degradation, degeneration has been going on actually for the last 10,000 years. And just now they are speaking about the necessity. Big companies are now talking about soil regeneration. But what is the key to soil regeneration? Cow dung, bull dung. Lakshmi, we understand Lakshmi is present in the dung of the cow. If society would understand this simple point, then we understand the bull is so valuable. Anyway, this is an ongoing discussion. We can have a whole seminar on this. But I don't want to hold up from the daily schedule. So we can discuss privately if there's anything more.
Hare Krishna.
I'll end there.
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
So I will speak in Hindi.
Yes.
Somebody can translate to you into English. तो श्लोक में जो शब्द आया है पुत्र-स्नेहा-अनुबद्ध-manā, कि वो जो ब्राह्मण पिता था तो उसका मन अपने पुत्र के स्नेह में बंधा हुआ था, और साथ साथ ये भी बताया गया है कि कर्तव्य की भावना से वो अपने पुत्र को शिक्षा दे रहा था, ब्राह्मण पिता था। तो उसी प्रकार का जीवन पिछले जन्म में भरत महाराज का था कि वो भी अपने जो कर्तव्य को समझ करके हरण की रक्षा कर रहे थे, और साथ साथ आसक्ति भी थे, और उसको अपना पुत्र भी मान रहे थे। वो अपने राजर्षि भाव में थे कि वो राजा हैं, राजर्षि हैं, तो हरण को राजकुमार मान रहे थे, अपना पुत्र मान रहे थे, उसमें आसक्त थे, और उसकी रक्षा कर रहे थे कर्तव्य भावना से। जिस प्रकार से यहाँ ब्राह्मण पिता है वो जड़ भरत को अपना पुत्र मान रहा है, अपने पुत्र में आसक्त है और कर्तव्य भावना से शिक्षा दे रहा है। तो भरत महाराज जो है हरण को शिक्षा तो नहीं दे सकते हैं क्योंकि पशु है, तो शिक्षा नहीं दे रहे हैं, तो अपना कर्तव्य मानते रक्षा करना है कि इसकी रक्षा करना है। तो रक्षा करने के भाव से ही कर्तव्य की भावना से ही वो रक्षा कर रहे थे, लेकिन वो दुर्घटना हो गई कि उनको हरण का शरीर प्राप्त हुआ। लेकिन इससे क्या हुआ, हरण का लाभ हुआ। भरत महाराज ने पूरा अपना आशीर्वाद है, अपनी सद्भावना पूरी उस हरण को सौंपी कि उसका हर प्रकार से मंगल हो। तो उसका तो आध्यात्मिक रूप से बहुत लाभ हुआ, मंगल हुआ। और यहाँ पर जो पिता है, पिता का लाभ हो रहा है, क्योंकि भरत महाराज यद्यपि जड़ या मूर्ख जैसे मालूम पड़ रहे हैं, लेकिन आसक्ति, अपने पुत्र में आसक्ति होने के कारण पिता का भी लाभ हो रहा है। तो इस जो घटना है इसमें पिता का लाभ हो रहा है कि अपने पुत्र में आसक्त है। और उस पिछले जन्म की घटना जो भरत महाराज की थी उसमें हरण को लाभ हुआ, क्योंकि वो जो है हरण में आसक्त थे, या हरण जो है भरत महाराज में आसक्त था। हरे कृष्णा।
So that wasn't a question, that was a comment. Okay. Thanks. Okay, thank you all very much. Srila Prabhupada ki, Grantaraj Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki, Gaur Premanande.